All right, cut the music on. Stay. We're going. This is going to be an hour show, so I mean I keep it under an hour if I want to show it again. So get into the intro, please. Bones, take her away.
Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Southern Fried Paranormal with Len Dorman featuring Bones. Catch us on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Spreaker, Facebook, Stream, and everywhere else you catch your podcasts. And of course, WLFD-DB.com. Now, from the backwoods of southeast Arkansas, right beside the Bayou Bartholomew, the longest bayou on the planet, broadcasting from downtown metropolitan Cane Creek Township, here is your host, Len Dorman.
Bones, why did that come back on? Anyway, Bones, technical difficulties. That's what happens when you have pause and try to use a laptop. It's not me. My hand's right here. The other one's here. Anyway, we are going to get down to our show tonight very quickly. We're going to keep it under an hour. So, because Craig's got to have his beauty sleep. Rick Koss.
Hello, Len. How are you?
And from the Shadow Hour, and I'm doing all right. And Anthony, I am struggling to pronounce your last name from Wraith World.
Oh, just Ceballos. Yeah, I need to take that off and just go with the Wraith Prince on there.
Okay.
Anthony Ceballos. We're not freezing up.
But we got two guests tonight. We're going to be talking to them for the next 50 minutes. Who's frozen, me or Anthony?
Oh, I'm not.
We're not.
It's on your side still.
I think it was you were.
I'm not frozen on my hand.
What's going on, George?
Yeah, George.
Oh.
And Dexler. Hey, George.
Yeah, I froze again.
No, he's partially frozen.
Oh, there he is, George. I was partially frozen. I was looking at George, which means I was looking like that. Anyway, Greg and Anthony, what do we want to talk about tonight? Something besides me, so y'all can do the talking. So if I freeze up, we still got something going on.
Well, we could talk about our shows. How about that? How many shows do we do?
That's fine.
Anthony, you want to start out, Anthony?
What was that, Greg?
You want to start out, or do you want me to?
It don't matter. I can go.
Okay.
That way you can do the finale. Okay. Well, my name is Anthony Ceballos. I am the founder of Texas Wraith Hunters and the founder of Wraith World Podcast. Of course, they're both paranormal. The paranormal found me, which I didn't get into the paranormal. The paranormal found me over 40 years ago. So I've been in and out for a long time, experienced a lot of things. And so recently here, I started my team. Well, not recently, but it's been a couple of years. But just decided to go ahead and start a team and started investigating with evidence now. So yeah, I bought some equipment and everything, and then started my podcast, which my podcast is about just bringing on guests and that we can expand the paranormal knowledge and help other groups that need advice on how to get started. Just a little bit of everything. So that's pretty much about me.
Okay.
That's pretty
Uh,
crazy because I saw myself real big.
you covered a whole entire screen there.
Yeah, it's your turn now.
Uh-oh, here we go. Well, I'm Greg Koss. I'm one of the shows that I do is called The Shadow Hour, and that's on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Central. The other show that I do is Metaphysical Crossing, and Metaphysical Crossing's on Wednesday at 8 p.m. The Shadow Hour is a show that I do interviews, and I just interview people that I've wanted to interview in the paranormal community, that I've worked with in the paranormal community, um, people that have my interest. The last probably 7 years, I've been really working a lot as far as ITC is concerned, which is instrumental transcommunication. Uh, I am an investigator, but at the same time, I prefer to do that end of the investigation where I talk to spirit. And that's metaphysical. And metaphysical, what we do on metaphysical is I have a group of people from Shadow Hunters, and that's the Shadow Hunters Paranormal Investigations and Events crew. And I have a few people that I use on every Wednesday night. Excuse me. And what we do is we'll go ahead and we'll do Estes sessions. We'll use another person that either is good with dowsing rods or with pendulums to verify some of the answers that are given. And we work usually a double on our end, and then I have a list of rotating guests that I bring on from various parts of the country. Excuse me. And the reason I do that is because I'm trying to find that there's a amplification as far as what we're picking up spirit wise when we go over long distances. And that's just something that we came across. And it's a definite plus as far as where the questions that are asked. And, when we go ahead and we compare what we're getting, it's mind boggling at times because we can have spirits from, say, for instance, I go from Minnesota to South Dakota to Missouri, and it's just wild. And then we're in Rhode Island too. Excuse me, sort of screwed that one up. In Rhode Island, we have Kristen Johnson and Chris Carr from Dark Horse Paranormal, and also Bigfoot and the Bunny. In Missouri, I have Katie Stafford, and usually uh, I can't think of her name right now, but she was not Abby Miller is her name, and they're the team from Missouri. Greg Bakken was the team from up in Minnesota, and still hopefully is. I'm still trying. He got really really ill with COVID, and he's been down, and he's trying to work his way back. So if you get an opportunity, be sure to say a prayer for him. And then I don't think I left anybody else out except for the Horns in South Dakota, and they're a new team that I brought on 2 weeks ago, and they're great people too. And this is all double Estes normally. We have done one or two shows with just live spirit box sessions. Uh, I think the spirit's a little more reluctant to go through the live, especially over long distances, compared to where you're using headphones and you're doing a straight Estes. They're more comfortable for some reason coming through that way. So that's what I do. I've been an investigator. I enjoy it immensely. I have some great locations that I've been to across the country, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I want to continue doing this. So thank you very much. Did I talk too long?
Okay. Where can people see you?
Where can people see who?
Anthony?
No, you're not on, Anthony.
Is
You're muted. There you go.
How did it mute me? Yeah, you can go to my profile, Anthony Ceballos. You can find me on there on Facebook.
so?
And
eh, eh, where can people see your show and what times?
okay, then Race Roads. You can go to Race Road Podcast on Facebook also. I don't have times. I'm not in a slot, so I pop up when I pop up. But I usually post, so that's what I'm saying is you can follow Race World Podcast, and you'll catch the post there, or my profile, or Texas Race Hunters on YouTube and also on Facebook.
Okay. What about you, Craig? What times are your shows available when you do this double S?
We do that show, Metaphysical Crossings, done on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time. And the Shadow Hours done on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time. And we've got another show in between because Anthony's involved with Reggie Randall on Tuesday nights. And it looks like we might all three of us get together. I don't know if that's really going to work or not. It depends, but Reggie should be on here. So something either happened or maybe he fell asleep because I know he was a little tired still from overexerting himself on Tuesday night. So anyway, that show's comes on at isn't it 7:00?
It's 7 to 9
7 to 9
on Tuesdays.
and then I do a show with Reggie on Thursday night that's called Normal Paranormal Communication. I screwed that up again, didn't I?
Which one is it? Led to the light?
No, no, it's the one Perfectly Normal Paranormal Communications. That's the name of the show. And that comes on at 6 p.m. and that's on Dark Horse Paranormal. And believe it or not, it's extremely interesting because a lot of times we just fly by the seat of our pants. Tonight's show that we did earlier tonight, it was like normally what we do is we try to have film clips and a combination of not only film clips but EVPs built in from different locations. And when Reggie was down in Texas, he went ahead and he went to a cemetery in New Mexico. And I can't.
He went to I don't remember the name of the cemetery, but it was in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
It wasn't the Masons. It was another name like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's in Las Cruces. I don't remember the
Well, anyway,
the cemetery.
he did an awesome job in there too. Reggie's like a spirit magnet when it comes to going to these locations, and the respect that they have a tendency to want to come out and talk to them. I've seen it up here with me probably 3 years ago, 4 years ago now that I've known him. And the first time he came down by us, we went to one cemetery, and in that one cemetery, he did such an amazing job. It wasn't even funny. For instance, here's an example. We get in there and he's all set up and he's got the spirit box in his pocket. He's got his tape recorder in his pocket. His hands are free. Sometimes he has his spirit box in his hand, and he goes from tombstone to tombstone. And he started out at front and center of the cemetery off the drive. And he goes by, and the first big monument that was there was Reardon. To me, I never heard it pronounced any other way. That's the name, Reardon. And he goes by and he goes, "Good morning, how are you doing, Mr. Riordan?" Like that. And I go, "Reggie, it's Reardon." And you know what the EVP was? It said Riordan. And it continued like that. And he come up with more evidence there. He has a cemetery up where he lives, which is up by Madison. And he has a cemetery out there that he's done some absolutely amazing work at. And I'm sure that if you've seen our show together, our show that we started, and that was Perfectly Normal Paranormal Communication. The first couple episodes were clips from that cemetery up by Madison, which is, I want to say it's St. Michael's. And he has stuff. He even had one of the women, believe it or not, who was a musician when she was alive. She died in like 1920, 1919, something like that. And she was an accomplished piano player. And he asked her to play the piano for him. And this is the honest to God truth. You could hear like 2 or 3 notes that came through like absolutely nothing. And it was like, it's so mind-boggling when you hear this stuff. And you can't create it. You know what I'm saying? And it's really great. I mean, it's something that everybody needs to watch. You know, he has some of these episodes.
What I'd like to know is that when people that don't believe in ghosts, and we all know people like that, how do they?
I don't think
happenings like that, Greg. How do they have to explain it?
I don't. You know what? I don't think that's very important at all, except to try to help them in some way to try to understand what we're trying to accomplish. I mean, their spirit. They're plain as day. It's spirit that's talking to them. Plain as day. And then when he asks questions like that, you know, I'm here, and I know I was supposed to be here 2 weeks ago. I'm 2 weeks late, but I wanted to come back and I wanted to see you guys. And I wanted to talk to, and I don't remember what her first name was, but it was the wife, and she was the musician. He says, "I was hoping that you would play the piano again for me." And you could hear the notes. It's like 3 notes, but I mean, they actually come, you could actually hear it. And, you know, Anthony's heard it all, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. And he did the same thing when he went down to Las Cruces. he was getting responses from the people in that cemetery too that were, I would say, close to what he did up in Madison. We were at St. Pat when he got Riordan. That was in the cemetery down by us in not Lake Bluff. It was in I can't think of the name of the town, but it's been a very haunted location for a bunch of years, and there's been tours, Lake County tours that have stopped there for years. And I took him in there because I thought it would be a good cemetery to see him work at. Because at that point, I never seen him work before. And there's nobody I know of today that I've seen on shows or anything else that can match what he does. Now, I'm not putting this out there as a challenge. I'm just saying that from what I've seen, and there may be people that have seen a lot more than me, like Anthony, that could collaborate what I'm trying to say, and I hope he continues on with the way he's going today,
Yeah,
because
I agree with you, Greg.
there's a lot of people, they can't touch him. They can't
It's
come close.
it's his technique. Since I've met him, which I think I met him maybe I don't know maybe I don't know not that long, but we're talking to him for hours at a time. We're up at night like this. 4 or 5 hours talking tech and talking this and that, but his technique is something that's different. That is even I've even told him myself that it's I've used that technique because I would for all the decades that I've been doing this. Yes, I was really aggressive a lot of times. I didn't see it in a different perspective the way he did. And when I started watching him, and when I first started watching your show, I got to see a different way of doing things, a more gentle kind of way, which I seen how he gets so much response because you're not coming at it in a demanding way. You're not trying to be forceful. He comes at it just like right now. We're talking to each other. We're respecting each other, and if the people in the chat, the same thing. That's the way that he comes at it. And since sometimes it's because we can't see the person, we really don't take it into consideration that it's still a person because we don't see the actual body. And so I think that's an issue that us paranormal investigators have. We get caught up in all the hype and the equipment and trying to get evidence that we forget that these are people. And when we're just trying to get evidence, but when we forget that they're people. And so when you can change that mindset, kind of like when we pick, like we're at a job for 10 years, 20 years, we pick up bad habits. And then sometimes the company will come back and retrain you in the way you're supposed to be doing the things the right way. And I believe that this is how this is because I had to retrain myself and get rid of all those bad habits, all those Zach Bacon habits. And and when I started to do that, my last three investigations, and even with the spirit boxes, because I used the app, the Necrophonics, and I used to use SB7, and that I started to get a lot more clear responses. I didn't have to listen to try to figure out what it was saying. I was getting nice, clear, audible responses. And and even when I went to the cemetery here in town a couple of weeks ago, everybody was talking. And I've never had that happen like that. The way the Reggie gets it. Reggie walks in there and everybody's talking to him. I've turned on my spirit box here at the house. As soon as I turn it on, they say my name. And you start to get that relationship like that because I come at it in a different way, not the same that I was. So I think that's something that everyone should take a lesson from, and it would make you a better investigator if you're starting out, and it will clean you up if you're already seasoned investigator.
That's
But
really the
Anthony,
amazing part.
yes, it is.
Go ahead.
Anthony, you're preaching gospels. That's what you're doing. So thank you for that, Anthony.
I think we're all in the same school, in the respect that
Yes.
I've been doing that. I've been doing that all the way back from Gettysburg, because I had to go into Gettysburg and go, me being a northerner, and going into like the triangular field where I'm at halfway up the hill, it was all Confederates. And they were in the woods, but we're brothers. Okay, military brothers. They died. I'm still alive, and I talked to them for probably an hour before it started getting really dark. And that's when they came out of the woods. And I told you that story before, I believe, Len. And how I could feel them around me. And it wasn't my imagination. I could actually feel them. I held my hands out. I could feel them on my hands and all around my back. And they came out to greet me. And that was the point where I went ahead and decided that I didn't need to stand at the top of the hill with a spirit box with 10 people standing around it arguing about what the spirit box just said. That to me just didn't fit right. And it was like at that point I said, I have to find some way to use the spirit box to my advantage, to communicate with real spirit. And that's exactly at the same time that they came out with the original Estes. Before it was the regular, like you talked to Tim Woolworth, and Tim Woolworth will tell you point blank, it wasn't the Estes that came out first. It was the double blind ghost box. And I've been with Tim Woolworth on quite Ashmore Estates. We were someplace else where I had the opportunity to talk to him in detail. And Tim Woolworth is one of those ITC people that's like he's part of the round table of the guys that, are the big dogs in ITC. And when he mentioned it all to me, I was sort of stunned, because it brought everything together for me in my path that I was taking already, as far as my psychic schooling was concerned, my empath, everything else all thrown into one under my mentor, Scotty Rourke. And this helped me go down my path, because it was all presented to me off that round table. And they were, you had the Rathmans, you had the Iacovettis, you had all these people that today actually play with dead air. They don't even have white noise that they play with. It's dead air. And they actually pick up communication, because it takes a while for them to go ahead and build up the rapport between them and the spirits. Like what Machiavelli, what he was doing back in the day, in the 60s, I think. And then there's Marcello, was it Bacci? I think he was another one that played with dead air. And it's a little different to me. I'm fine where I'm at. As long as I keep my rapport the way it should be, I think that we're all steps ahead of where people are, where they're yelling and screaming and demanding things of spirit that they have no idea where they're at and who they're talking to. There's people you just don't do that to. Some people today,
Yeah.
you're going to get flattened. And that's the thing in a nutshell, and I know Anthony understands that. And I'm sure, Len, you do too, because of the places you've been. New Orleans, you don't screw with them down in New Orleans. You talk to them nice, right?
No. When I was down in New Orleans, I actually talked to Marie LeBeau and got permission to go hunt down there. I actually went
Yeah, but I mean, you
to her crib, asked permission, and left an offering uh, there, and then asked permission to do ghost hunting down there. And since I did that, I get a lot better results in the New Orleans area.
it's like if you were going to investigate a community, and where would you go first? You would go to the church. You'd go into the church and you'd say a few prayers and you'd ask the church, hey, please, can you make this easy on me? Can you help me in what I'm trying to accomplish? Just like you would talk to your spirit guides. And then you would walk out of there and things would start to happen. And that's what's so interesting about it. I'm sure that Anthony, he's in areas down where he's at that I don't know if I'd go into some of them, but
I got the perfect place for you.
yeah, I know you do. The forest.
Yes.
Tell Len about the forest.
I am the wraith god of the forest. The forest.
The race god of the forest.
If you took Bachelor's
Put that on
Grove,
letterhead.
you took Bachelor's Grove and put it on steroids and made it 100 times bigger. This is what he's talking about.
Yeah, the forest. The forest, that's been a big journey. That's been a 2 year ongoing investigation. And I don't think that's ever going to stop. Uh, that is a place down in San Antonio, Texas. It is an actual forest. It's got an urban legend to it. It's got a bridge there, and there's an urban legend attached to that. But from the very first time that we went there, like I said before, we didn't go there. We just went there on a whim. We stumbled on this place, and we didn't even have any equipment with us. We just had one camera. And but we ended up going to this place. It's on the outskirts of San Antonio, and we went. There's a bridge with the river that you got to cross over, and we did, and we ended up going into the forest. And while we were in there, we had me and let me see, I'm trying to remember because it was all four of us. I have four on my team. Yeah, it was all four of us. We ended up meeting another lady, her husband, their friend, and their nephew. So there was four other ones that were there that went in with us. They wanted to because they seen what we did, so they were interested. And so I said, okay, fine, you can stick along. So they go in with us, and right off the bat, we just started getting. Um, that was more of an experience because we didn't have any equipment with us, and so but the experience that we got from that first time was just so much. I mean, we did one of my two of my members. There was an apparition that they seen of a lady, and then but that place it's different. I mean, we talk about portals. I hear about portals or vortexes. That place has everything. It's like going to the circus, and you got different rides and everything. That place is just so much activity, and from what I believe that there is an interdimensional being there, whether it be a Bigfoot or a cryptid, whatever it is. But there's something else in there, and among um, because it's native land, so we heard drum beats, we heard women crying. Um, you got you could see when the first time that we went in there, we crossed over into a different dimension. that we lost track of time, and when we once we did that, we came back out of there. We were never the same. I've never been the same since then. Actually, none of us have. I only have one member left, my co-founder. The other two are gone, and and I know that one of them was due because of that place. And that's why he left. And but it changed us. It changed us in so many ways that it would. You don't have enough time. I mean, I'll try to get it in as much as I can, but yeah, we you could see the portals open when we crossed over one dimension. We actually went into a different place. Like I said, we lost track of time. When we came back out of that place, out of that gateway, you could see just a darkness. And I call it a portal because I know that's what it is because we went into this one. And but I've been there. We've been there. We just went there maybe like maybe a month ago. I think it's already been a month. Yeah. And but that was our 10th time. But every time that we've gone in the last 2 years, we're starting to get a whole lot more evidence. Even this last time that we went, that I actually caught the portal opening and closing during the day, and I have clear video of it, and you can see it. And uh, because there's so many paranormal investigators in San Antonio, but none of them will go in there. They only go to the bridge, and I've talked to a lot of them. They just like they'll say, I'll get a bad vibe out of that place. They won't go in there, and we've gone 6 miles inside of it because I mean there's just so much, and but that place, I mean, it's it'll change you. You will not come back out the same. You'll. I mean, the only way I can say it is you just have to experience it. So you'll have to come down here, you and Greg, and I'll take y'all both down there.
That's awesome.
Am I still big? Yeah, I'm still big.
Well, if I get a chance, I would love to come down there and experience. I comment about portals. I've opened and closed. I try not to walk through it. I was at an investigation. Us jumped behind some spirits that were opening a portal. We didn't realize it, and move on to wherever they go. And we ended up jumping through their portal and emerged several minutes later in time. And I say that because when we opened the physical door, it ran. A spirit box was talking. We want to hear what. So we dashed into the hallway, and when we opened the dark, when we took a couple steps, we realized the sun was shining, and the lights had no. Of our lights that were on have no effect because there was bright sunshine. And we looked at the clock, and several minutes had passed. Now I have no idea what somebody would have filmed had they standing there filming us, but we disappeared for 2, 3, 4 minutes. And be careful is because I ended up getting skin cancer, and she almost died from cancer. And I don't think that's a coincidence. So be careful if you run through a portal.
Oh, I cross them all the time now.
That's
I crossed 3 of them this last time. Yeah, I crossed 3 gateways this time. I know where about 6 of them are in there. And every time we go back, like I said, I don't know. I have a relationship with this place. I don't know what
do you go through them?
The what? I didn't catch that.
I think he said, "Did you go through them?"
Yeah, I go through them.
Where does it take you?
breaking up.
Yeah, I can't understand.
Oh, I'm breaking. I said, where do they take you when you go through them?
That's like I said, like
So,
I don't believe that they're all the same because I know that when we hear about them, we hear them out on other podcasts or on a cryptid podcast or whatever, or people have this conception because of what they see in the movies, like a Stargate. It's got this lights on it and everything. They walk through it and they come out on a whole nother world.
right,
They may be something like that, but that's not like this. These are different. They're almost like they'll appear, and like I said in that video, you can see it, and it was awesome because it was during the daytime, and they'll appear, and you can see like you see another place, but you're not seeing like in the movies a whole nother world. It's still part of the forest, but it's not. But when you walk in through it, it you'll see each one of those portals has or openings has a guardian on each one. So the six that I know about, there's six different guardians, and because there's one in each one in front of it, and so when you walk through it, everything will change. And I did have two other founders that did go in there with me, and his wife. It was a wife, husband, and wife, and his wife saw her husband disappear right where I told him with my other member. I said, take right there, and then I told her just to wait. I said, now watch, because when they cross through that gateway or that line, you'll see them disappear. I said, but don't freak out because he'll be all right because it was her husband. So I told my team member, I said, go ahead and go in. So they both walked in, and as soon as it's like watching them go through a door, they went through it, and you could see them just disappear. And she started kind of freaking out. What she did, because she's like, "Where'd my husband go? Where'd my husband go?" I said, "Just calm down. He's still there." And then you saw them reappear, because once you cross over, and then when you get to that side of it, uh, the forest changes. It'll never stay the same. It's always changing. I mean, it's like Alice in Wonderland. I mean, that's how I've described it. Because you'll go from one place to another, but it's not going to literally like you see in the movies. At least at this place, you won't end up in Egypt or somewhere else. You're still in the forest, but it's not the same. And it's really really hard to describe. I mean, there's something that you would have to experience yourself to really get the full understanding of it. But then you will cross into, and you can see them, and I've talked about it in several podcasts. Of course, it takes me like 5 or 6 hours just to get a little bit of it out, because it's just so big. Um, but there has been, I have finally got an opportunity to take several seasoned investigators that experience now what I've been talking about. And then there's even one on YouTube that he did it by himself. I don't know him personally, but I know who he is, but I don't know him personally. And he went in there during the daytime, but he went just at the beginning of it. He didn't go inside the forest. He went just at the edge of it, and he described the things that he saw was the same things that I've been talking about. So I'm finally starting to get some validation because I don't I'm not one that says, well, this is mine, because I know some good stuff. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, it's the stuff that you hear other people talk about, but you never experience it. And so I don't keep it to myself. I invite anybody to go down there because I know. But it doesn't. What's funny about it is that it doesn't open up for just anyone. That's another thing. I think it depends who's if it's their energy or what, but it doesn't do it for everyone. Because I have another friend of mine that he goes by himself and he'll get on live. I'll get on live with him, and it won't happen. It won't happen with him. But I took him the last time with me, and it don't happen. I mean, with me it does. That's been every time. So it's like I said, it's different. I don't know if about other places if they do look like that, like you see them in the movies. You see the hole, and you see another, like you see this right here. You see a whole another place or realm. But these are
right.
different. And I do get beat up though. I used to get beat up a lot. I mean beat up like physically. Like I would come out of there with bruises. And these last couple of times, It's not like that anymore. And like I said, this is actually a journey because this native and the natives that were there that were massacred, the spirits in there have told me the story of what happened to them. And actually, I'm kind of like on a shamanic journey also because I have gone in there and I've gone into the forest and I've retrieved artifacts that they have shown me to bring for me. Like my bone, it's a real bone, and my stone, or one of my, it's a hagstone, but it represents water. They've actually given me the four elements, which is the bone is the earth, the hagstone is water, and then the very first the one of the third times the very first one that they gave me was the feather, which is represents air. And this one right here has a lot of energy. That this one, when I picked it up, it actually started to lift me up. And even right now, every time I hold it, I can feel it that it just starts to pick my arm up. And then I have the fire. Is another one. So it's like I said, this has been an awesome journey, and I just started on it, and it's already been over 2 years, 10 times in there.
Oh, it's really amazing.
And the videos that I got now.
Have you ever, have you, Anthony, have you ever thought about writing all this down and putting it in a book and publishing?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that, but it's so much for me. It's like I got tons of audio that I ain't even gone through. For me, EVPs, unless I'm not the type of person, like I said, as far as for me, when I use my spirit box and everything like this, I have this set up here that I built. I don't. I like the EVPs the same way Reggie gets them, loud and clear. I'm not going to sit there and go through hours and hours through a analyzer trying to hear trying to figure out what a whisper said. And I do have it where it's loud and clear. You just can't. And if I hear that, I keep it. If not, I just keep on going. But as far as writing a book about this force and it has acquired a big following. I mean, this forest deal, it has acquired a pretty large following, and I've done a lot of lives there. Also, this last one, not the last one, but the one before that, that was a pretty big live. But I would like to write one, but I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start because it's not even finished. I mean, I don't think I'll ever finish it. Then I'm actually moving to San Antonio at the beginning of this coming year, specifically because I want to be more near it.
Do you think you publishing, the videos and things of that nature that you brought upon a pressure from the public of people that are going to go in there and really not knowing what they're doing?
Um, as far as like if they see the videos, they're gonna want to go. I mean, I've said this before. If three things happen in there, either you're gonna lose your mind, you're not coming back, or you're gonna come out of there. Uh, it's gonna download on you. Your abilities are gonna be tested, and they're gonna be uh, upgraded. So whatever it is your abilities are, you're gonna come out of there on steroids. And every time that you go, it's gonna be a new challenge. So, but those three things happen, and there's been a lot of people that have been in there, and either they're seasoned, and now lately I mean, they get the crap scared out of them, and and that's during the daytime, and we go at night, and I don't even use flashlights because everybody knows that. I can see better in the dark, anyways. So, but yes, I would. I mean, I do challenge a lot of people. I mean, like I said, this is not it's an awesome location with everything you could imagine. It's in there, but it's just that it is so intimidating that people don't go, which is fine. I mean, it's just more for me. But I would love for them to go because just like this one guy, one investigator did, he actually validated what I've been talking about on these podcasts. So we're not done yet. So
Well, I think you're doing it the right way. But you need to be validated and let somebody else get some results.
Right.
And that validates everything you say instead of it's just you saying it. All of a sudden, there's two of you saying or three of you saying.
Right.
And if y'all have similar experiences, then who can doubt you?
I
would say to you, keep up your research. Go there as often as you can and take the.
Yeah, and then like I said, after the first time, I did come back and research the land. That land.
What were you saying, Greg?
I was just going to make a comment, but let him continue.
Okay, it's just like the first time we did it, we came when we came back, I did the research on that land, and I found which tribe it was that lived there before. But they were in 1981. They were digging the Applewhite Dam, and they found artifacts, so that they stopped the construction of that dam, and they dated those artifacts 10,000 years back. So you have 10,000 years of generations of
Wow.
natives, and where are they at? Where did they bury them at?
Wow.
They're buried in that forest, and then now they turned that forest into a bike trail. So there's about a 3 foot sidewalk that goes 17 miles through it, and it winds. So who knows if that sidewalk's not right over, which I know it is, right over native burial ground. So because where did they go? They had to bury them somewhere, so they're there. So that's what you see,
Wow.
all the lights in there. We call them fireflies, but they're not fireflies because they light up red, green, blue, yellow. They look like my light speck here. That's what they look like.
Yeah.
Those different colors, and they will come up to you. I had a medium that went in there one time with me. The girls had more balls to go in than the guys. Look at that. And they went in with me. She was actually calling them, and she was talking to them. And like I said, it's gotten bigger and bigger. But I've gotten more information and more information every time I go. I get more and more, and of what happened. That now the native spirits have shown me of what happened at that time back in that era that they were in. They want their story told. So it's slowly coming out, but there is one spirit in there that is really bad, and that's the one that everybody that tries to go in there picks up on. If they're a mediumship or anything like that, they pick up on it, and that's the one that'll kick your butt. He's in there.
That is so very interesting. And can people see your videos when they go to?
Uh, the videos. Let me see. Yes, I do have one. I have one. The original first time video. It's on my Texas Race Hunters on YouTube. It's kind of dark. Well, it is dark because they're just like I said, it was all dark.
Okay.
But if you can, but a lot of people listen to the audio. I mean, that's crazy though. But I do have videos now. I just haven't put them up yet. I haven't put them out. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because now for me is equipment doesn't really work. Only sometimes certain equipment works that I don't even take equipment with me no more. It's for me. It's been. I mean, I have my phone, so I got my camera or my tablet. But as far as a lot of the other equipment that I have, I don't even bother with it because it won't work. It'll get drained or it just doesn't work. And for me now, it's more. It's almost kind of like I've become a tour guide to that place, and it's more. It's kind of like if you want to go on a paranormal journey of your abilities and training, I'll take you in there, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
That's why you brought up the shamanism too.
Yes, because
Because
that's the connection with me.
you see, there's so many places across the United States, and there's even places, that we've been to up in Wisconsin, that Broadhead Manor, where we've been I've been there probably 9 times now. and that was tribal ground. There was the burial mounds. They brought the railroad through, knocked down, knocked down the mounds. So now you've got spirits that are very upset with whatever's going to be going on. And what do? They put a school right next to it.
Yeah.
And then you find out later on down the road that it's not just a local tribe of Indians. It goes back as far as the Incas and the Aztecs. And they used to run the whole entire United States and all the way up into Canada,
Right.
as far as they could go. And it was the Incas and the Aztecs. And that's exactly, then you bring into play all the portals.
Yeah.
And then you take the portals a step further and you go back how many thousands of years to ancient Egypt and what they're showing today. You know, remember who Mike Ricksacker is, Len? I think you do know who Mike is.
Oh yes.
He
Oh, yes.
okay. Mike Ricksacker's been doing
Yes, I
all these tours in Egypt. And now they've come to another brand new discovery that inside almost every pyramid and above every door is what they call the stargates. And they're in these buildings that are that many years old, and it's stargates.
Would you
And it's-
consider a Stargate as the same as a portal?
No, not really as the same as a portal, magnified by 100 times.
Right. You see, that's what I was referring to earlier. You know, when you see these in the movies, this one here is not the Stargate that
No.
you would see another world. You know, these are portals, but they're entryways because they even like I said, I found symbols on the entrance because I couldn't find that original entrance. It took me a year of I finally found it. The entrance that we went in the first time because it changes. The forest won't stay the same. Landmarks change. You know, I'm good at I'm good at tracking the land, and it changes. It's like it rearranges itself. It happened to us when we came out because we got lost, and there's no way you can get lost. It's just a little path to the straight to the left and the right, and that's it. You're back. But it twisted on us, you know, and that's why we lost track of time. And so these entryways, that one that we went into on the tree, I think it was like the fourth time we went back. Or when I found it, we went back during the daytime, so we know where it's at because we were going to come back at night. On that tree, I saw the spiral symbol. At the time, I kind of knew what it was, but I wasn't real versed in it. And then when I got back, of course, I did the research. That spiral syndrome it's an old native symbol, meaning portal. So here you got the tree where there's an entrance to a portal, and then now you have a symbol that represents a portal. Now, of course, I tried to take a picture of it, and it wouldn't come out. It didn't come out on my camera. It wasn't carved. You could see it, and then but I couldn't take a picture of it. But I know what I saw, and so to me, it's kind of like it's like wow, look at this. It's more like an enter sign, like you see on the doorways of the theater. You see exit sign on the top in red, or you see an enter sign. Well, depending on which way the spiral is turning, it's either you're going in or you're coming out. Well, that one's going clockwise, so that means you're going in. Yet this is where we went in, and this is where the original entrance is at. So how ironic is that I see uh, a sign that says "Enter here." Basically, is what it means. So it's pretty wild. I mean, see, that's what I mean. It gets bigger and bigger.
That's amazing.
But Anthony, I've done a little research on some of the ancient, yeah, the very ancient Native Americans out in the area we were talking about earlier, New Mexico, Arizona, go far as Colorado, up the coast of Denver, and that seems to be a common theme on petroglyphs is a spiral, you know, the circle in a circle and going around to a spiral. Some of them have side by side spirals, and I'm talking about, 3, 4, 5 feet across each spiral going in different directions. And that's been chiseled into rock for 3,000 or 4,000 years.
That's exactly what he's
Which
dealing
is
with.
amazing. But you wonder why they're take all the time to engrave this big spiral to hard rock. It must mean something. And if they got them side by side, are you saying, Anthony, that there's an entrance door and an exit door, and there's going to a grocery store or something that's been etched in these rocks for 3,000 years?
Right. That's what I meant, because from the first time we went in, and then we couldn't find it. I mean, I actually had to look and look and look. I actually found it on satellite because I knew it was somewhere. Because it's funny because Google Maps, when you go to the Street View, they actually took a golf cart through that trail. So I was able to go into the forest on Google Maps, and that's how I found it. And I can remember that it was right there. So when we went back the fourth time, we went during the daytime, and that's what I mean to find that, because the entrance when we went at night, we couldn't cross back. Once we went in, the first guy he went in there, the friend he went in there because he acted like he was
No, he's frozen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead. Thank you very much, Len. It's 9 minutes after 11. I will catch up with you if we can do this another time again, and I'll have you on shortly. Okay? I appreciate it.
Okay,
and
maybe we're going to.
You're gonna what?
We're going to try to get that wire that I need, but I got to find one that's got a clip on one end and a standard issue being on the other end. He's completely dropped out now.
Yeah.
So apparently he lost some kind of signal.
Yeah. Well, he's talking about the portals.
Like I said, we'll oh, you still have him?
No, I'm saying he's talking about the portals.
Oh, okay. Okay, here you go.
I'm gonna go to bed. So if he wants to, it's up to him. He can stay with you for as long as you want to keep it going. It's a shame that you're having that interference, though. You know what I mean? If there's some way I could help you, and if I could help you in any way pertaining to that, let me know. Okay.
I think I'm back on.
Yeah, you can stay on as long as you want.
Yes, you're back, Anthony.
I'm going to leave.
Great, Anthony. Greg was about to go. He's
having trouble connecting.
He's got to go get his beauty.
I got to go get my beauty sleep.
I don't know. I got internet.
What is going on? You started talking about the portals, man.
Yeah.
You were talking portals. That's exactly what's going on. I will see you guys later. Thank you very much for having us on, Len.
Good night, Greg.
Good night. Good night.
I appreciate you being here, Greg.
Okay. Anthony, we'll see you later.
I'm trying to, I don't know, I can't even see y'all.
That's okay. Not much to look at anyway. We'll see you later.
I'm trying to leave, but it won't let me.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Anthony, me or Greg, neither one are very much to look at, so you're not missing much.
Okay, there we go. Now I can see y'all. There goes.
Okay.
Yeah. What's funny too, I was gonna say,
Greg's going to bed. and we lost everybody. Well, this is only supposed to be an hour show. We started talking about portals, and craziness happened. And here we are, 5 minutes into a second hour, and boom. That happens when you talk portals on the internet. Everybody falls into one or something. I don't know. I don't know the explanation. Uh, I know portals exist. I've been through one. I have seen them open. I've seen them close. I walked through one and lost about 5 minutes of time. We jumped forward in time for a portal. Even though I had a camera on my hand, it got completely out of sync with the other camera that was playing. It was recording the next room. So I can perfectly understand what Anthony was talking about with portals. I seem to have a lot better connection. Of course, it's later night people's gaming. This is why I have my show at 10 o'clock at night live. Using cell phone towers. The local businesses are closing, and people are, by 11 o'clock, they start to go to bed. In this neighborhood, I'm probably the only person within a quarter of a mile that's even awake. So that's why it starts clearing up. But 10 o'clock is later than a lot of people want to appear live on the show. But it's when I get the best connection is after midnight. I'm hoping I can get a new wire, and I will get improved connection. Although I do have one, it's suddenly improved at 11 o'clock. And of course, when I don't have the input, the data going up and down, I'm not freezing. I'm not going in and out. I don't seem to be breaking up. But Greg went to bed, and Anthony, you start talking about portals on the internet. I've seen just crazy things happening. So all right, we'll go ahead and get out of this, and we're going to go ahead and close it down for the night. It's been a long day for me. This is the second show that I've done. I recorded one earlier with Amelia Cotter. I will be letting you know when that show will be aired. I will be back at midnight with the Midnight LPD's Midnight Special Paranormal Show. It is not a music show. It's not related to the YouTube channel, the Midnight Special, which is the person who owns the rights to the old show from the 70s and 80s. You get, if you watch that YouTube channel, you will get to see some of the superstars and pop music from the 70s and 80s in their prime and on live in front of a live audience. What my generation got to watch in the 80s, 70s, and 80s on TV. This is what we came home early from dates on, or if we stayed up, if we had a date that we could stay till 2 o'clock in the morning. Or on the East Coast. I was living in Georgia at the time. That was East Coast time. Midnight Special was based in Chicago. And, of course, Midnight Special came on at Midnight Central. That was at 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. And if you wanted to watch it, you had to stay at 2. So it was a great music. That's on the YouTube channel, The Midnight Special. So if you like music, go there. If you want to talk paranormal or see me talk about myself, I do not have guests on at midnight on Saturday night. But I do have LPD's The Midnight Special Paranormal Show, where we do talk paranormal. However, on this Saturday night, I will not be talking about portals. Apparently, that screws everything up. All right, Anthony, appreciate you being here. Good to have Greg back. And appreciate Amelia Cotter recording the show earlier that I will be announcing when that be. It may be next week, next Thursday night. If I do not have a guest, if I have a guest that's willing to appear on Thursday night, I will show it the next week. All right, Bones, go ahead and get us out of here. Good night, everybody. And just remember, unlike Craig Hoss, the paranormal never sleeps. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching our show. Be sure to tune in to next week as once again we journey way down south into Bayou Country for another heaping portion of Southern Fried Paranormal with Len Dorman and Bones. Make sure to like, share, and follow. Y'all come back now. You hear?